Welcome to another episode of Dynamite Delight. 1 week before Fyter Fest, night 1. We have a good build going into the show. It's a lot of content. So I want to say this ahead of time. If I forget something or I mix something up, I'm sorry. Because there's a lot here. And it's very warm in my apartment. Okay. First thing that we got was something I don't usually see anymore, and that was a lumberjack match, a flat-out lumberjack match versus Warlow and Luchasaurus. Now, was it the most spectacular? No. But it was good to see Warlow and Luchasaurus go at it. Now, here's the thing about doing a lumberjack match. Usually, one guy is with one group, one guy is with the other one. Face and heel lumberjacks. And they did exactly what they were supposed to do. Lumberjacks for the faces tried to help the face. Lumberjack for the heel, which is a heel, they basically beat up on Luchasaurus. It was what it was supposed to be. But when it came down to the fight afterward, which is very cliche, all lumberjack matches always end in a fight. I think this time around it felt okay to see the lumberjacks fight one another along with the ones who were in the ring. And then the key of the entire thing is when, before the lumberjack match ended, Warlow was beaten up on Luchasaurus. You got Cutter getting thrown into the heels. You got Marco Stunt literally being thrown into the heels. You got Warlow being thrown into the heels. And then you have Luchasaurus himself. And I think this is the thing that gets me, that a guy that size was nutty enough to do a shooting star press off the stage onto everyone. And he did not do a full rotation. He is freaking lucky that he didn't do a face plant into the concrete. That is how crazy that was. I'm not saying it was the most greatest match to watch, but it was something we don't normally see anymore. We don't see lumberjack matches from WWE or Impact Wrestling. Even before the COVID-19 match. Well, before the COVID-19 even happened, it is rare to see lumberjack matches from anyone. So seeing it was a good thing. It's just seeing two big guys do work up two small guys is always a hit and miss. And it kind of felt like it was somewhere in between a hit and miss for me personally. But you guys probably loved it. I'm not saying it was bad, but it was something. It was somewhat memorable. The Taz VidPack breakdown of Brian Cage was actually pretty good. They also did this for when it came to Best Friends versus Kenny Omega. And I gotta say this, when it comes to Kenny Omega and Adam Page. I think the reason I'm botching here is that it felt awkward. And maybe that's what they were going for when it came to Adam Page and the Kenny Omega with the Best Friends of Trent. And I don't know what it is. It felt awkward to see Best Friends and Kenny and Page talking. I don't know what it was. It just felt awkward. Yes, Taz did a good job breaking it down. JR didn't do a bad job. Excalibur did a good job. But it still felt awkward to me. I don't know what it was. Maybe it was very corny. Seeing that we're talking about who's the best friends and who are not. And who can get the job done. And it was true what Adam Page, Hangman Page, said. That, look, me and Kenny, we're not even best friends. And Kenny says, we're not good friends. And Paige says, we're not best friends. But, well, it wasn't Adam Page who said that we're the best wrestler. That was Kenny Omega. But he said he knows they're good wrestlers. And he's talking about best friends. But when it comes down to, we're still going to kick your ass. That part at the end I did like. But the rest felt really cringy for me personally. It felt weird. That's just me. You guys tell me below. We had Sheeta versus Red Velvet. Now, the match really didn't mean much. This was about Sheeta dealing with Penelope Forbes. Penelope, they're in my face. Seeing Penelope in the crowd, fine. Seeing that she pissed off Sheeta, fine. That was a good thing. Then Red Velvet, I knew that I saw Sheeta get into the ring. I said, she's going to destroy this girl. And just one knee lift into the face, she won within about 10 seconds. Well, actually, not even 10. It was like 4 or 5 seconds. From the moment she got into the ring, the moment that she gave her the high knee to the face, and then got the pin, and then crawled out of the ring, and then started attacking Forbes, that's roughly about maybe 10 seconds. Easily 10 to 15 seconds. That's how long it took for the entire sequence of getting into the ring, giving the high knee lift to the jaw, getting the pin, jumping out of the ring, and then attacking. Say about 10 to 15 seconds. It at least gives Sheeta something. I still don't know who Sheeta is. Seeing her carrying a kendo stick, a training stick, means nothing to me. She still is an unknown. I don't know what her personality is. Yes, she dresses like Tifa from Final Fantasy VII, who, well, I always loved Aris. But it doesn't mean I don't like Tifa. I always did like Tifa too. But she looks like Tifa from Final Fantasy VII. That's the only thing I got. That she might be a gamer and she loves Tifa from Final Fantasy VII. That's all I know. We need her to do something on Dynamite instead of always throwing it on to Dark. And I actually did a video on how they can make the women's division work using AEW Dark. It just, I don't know. Now, we got the press conference with Cody and Hager. Hager didn't show up immediately. Cody was put over by the Art himself. And Cody also did a great job saying, look, I'm not going to say what Art said. He was supposed to be really putting over Hager and also putting over Cody. What Cody generally said is this. We are in such hard times right now. We have this for hope. This is hope. He mentions Ricky Starks and says now the guy who had only $3 and maybe 60 cents in his pocket and his account now has a damn job. So him going back to NWA looks like it's gone bye-bye. He's done. And I know one of my subscribers said that seeing Ricky Starks on NWA turned him off. Come on. Don't get turned off by NWA because of Ricky Starks. And if this very same person that left the comment is not going to be turned off by AEW and Starks on it, come on. Don't have that thought. There's always going to be someone you don't like in the company. Just ignore the person you don't like and look for the ones you do. I really want you to do that because you never know that you need some joy in your life. And if NWA was that and Ricky Starks turned you off, I'd like to see you go back to NWA whenever they come back. I don't even know. But he spoke very well. Then Hager comes in with his wife. Then they do the press conference thing where they basically do the poses to show the fight feel. Fine. Then the cringy thing when Jake Hager's woman throws water into Cody's face. Really? It's not a bad thing, but kind of corny. I don't think it was necessary. It felt a little corny to me personally, but it does not mean it was a bad thing to do, throwing water into Cody's face and Cody holding everyone back. I don't know if it was bad. You guys tell me below if you believe that was a bad segment or not. I'm not sure about it. Now, Joey Janela as well as Sonny Kiss have another video package of them coming together as a tag team. And them going to, well, let me paint you a picture a little bit. They're both in a car that is owned by Sonny Kiss. Sonny Kiss is talking to him, telling him, look, things happen. You have a drive spot. It happens, but it'll be all right. He lets him drive his car. Then they go to a gas station. Joey's getting a whole bunch of snacks. And you see Sonny Kiss in poom poom shorts, extremely short shorts, showing a lot of ass. I don't think I got the shot, but if I do, I'll put it in my face. You guys can see it for yourself. And these guys coming up to Sonny saying, oh, nice ride, we're going to take it. And Sonny trying to whoop their ass and could not do it without Joey being by his side. In the end, they were able to drive the guys back. And now, pretty much Sonny's saying, I can get used to this. And Joey's saying, yeah. So this leads into the match between them and the Colt with the Brody Lee. Was it a good match? It was okay. It wasn't a bad match. And this, for me personally, is the first time I'm really seeing Sonny Kiss other than that Battle Royal I saw him in. Now, 3 things I saw when it came to Sonny Kiss. Joey Janela was Joey Janela. You know how Joey is. To me, he feels like Shawn Michaels. He should be acting like freaking Shawn Michaels, not a hardcore legend. Like he thinks he is or wants to be. He should be acting like Shawn. The first thing I saw about Sonny Kiss, he loves poom poom shorts that like to show his ass. 2, he's a very high flying wrestler. Now, I'm not saying that's a bad thing if he can pull it off. But the third thing I did notice, at least for me personally, is that his timing is not that good. Now, that could be because of inexperience. Maybe he's still very new in the business and he doesn't have the timing down as a high-flying wrestler. I know a lot of people say, well, he looked great. But for me personally, the way that he timed his jumps, his flips, as well as jumping out of the ring, felt a little off to me personally. This is just me. You guys could be fine with him as he is. But I do believe that he doesn't really have high-flying down when it comes to the timing and when he should do it. Not if he can do it. Remember, there's a difference between being able to do the flips outside and inside the ring and timing it right to make it look good. Now, I think he did a decent job throughout some of the match, but he just didn't do it that well. In the end, Brody Lee and the Colt Cabana wins. And then after this is all over, Colt is facing Brody, and Brody's pretty much saying, look, you can see when you're with us like this, you win. You will have what you want. And then he sets up a match with I'm not saying F. It could be because of the match I'm going to talk about at the end of this review. But SCU, he wants to deal with them. And Colt's not comfortable with it, but he says, don't worry, it'll be fine. And you will see after this match that you should join us. The question is going to be how far they're going to go with Colt joining Brody Lee and how he's going to be treated in the Dark Order if he does join. Now, we had the Brian Cage and Jobber Joe match, which wasn't much. You literally see nothing of Jobber Joe. He got his ass handed to him. He sold his ass off to a Brian Cage. Brian threw him around like it was a damn rag doll, like he was a toy. And he destroyed him very quickly. There was nothing there. But what was the best thing about this, and wasn't about Cage. I still love Cage. Guy's got incredible talent. But talking is not his strongest suit. That's what Taz is there for. And he cuts a gorgeous promo. I agree with Raj Giri, or was it Glenn Rubenstein, that this is, I think it was Raj Giri. He said it in his podcast. This is the first time he's seen Taz this fired up in years when he ever did anything in wrestling. This is the first time in years he's been so fired up. And it shows. When he was still on SmackDown, he just got tired. He tried to go over to ECW WWE, and it lasted only a short time, and he went right back to the way he was until he went to TNA, and he got fired up there for a little while until he went down the same path, because at that time when he came in and took care of Samoa Joe, You still had Eric Bischoff, Dixie Carter, even to a certain extent Hulk Hogan in the background. Even if they weren't there all the time, they would influence what was going on and turn them off again. But here, he is so fire when it comes to his promos. This guy is on it. He is the best when it comes to promos in the business right now. He's it. You can see the emotion. He cares. So that really helps the product. Now, Britt Baker had her moment complaining to Shivani. Britt Baker was behind a glass partition, hoping that the Big Swole won't touch her. And Britt Baker met Big Swole, thinking she was safe with her with martini-ish apple, whatever, and then gets garbage dumped on her. You can see the garbage in my face being dumped on her. Good. Something good here. I still want to see Britt Baker as a dentist. Talking about dentist lingo, she's not doing it. So you got to give us something. Something that's going to make it interesting. Big Swole is it. Now, I'm not a big opponent. I don't really like Big Swole that much. I don't hate her. I'm just not a fan of her much. But here, I will say she did a good job dumping garbage on her and making it interesting to see that she's going to have a feud with Britt, saying, you think you so hot? You ain't nothing, woman. I got you. I'm going to get in your head, woman. And that's the type of attitude I'm getting from Big Swole. She's pretty much presenting herself as, I'm going to get in your head. Set up rent. And you're not going to be able to walk around anywhere when you can walk without thinking of me. And Rebel, by her side, I didn't notice if she was laughing her ass off. But I think she might have got a good laugh out of it. But that's just me, you guys. Tell me below. When it comes to the match between Matt versus Santana, it's good to see Santana as a singles competitor. He's really good. I always said Ortiz and Santana are very good wrestlers, but the one thing I couldn't stand is that you could never hear Santana or Ortiz talk. But when they came to AEW, you could hear Santana talk. The guy has the ability to talk. I'm sure Ortiz can talk as well. He doesn't talk as much, but Santana has it. He could be a singles competitor on his own. I know he's going to stay a tag specialist, but you could see he could be a good singles competitor. The match was good. You get to see Neil won. And in the end, Matt wins. He gets his ass whooped, gets bloody, and Private Party saves him. Fine. No problem. I'm cool with it. Now, 2 more to go. The meeting in the ring of Cassidy and the Champion. I'll say this. Chris really does see something in Orange Cassidy. He really tried to put him over, saying, chicken and the egg. You are the chicken and the egg. An annoying thing if you hear it too much. But, I'll say this. Even though I asked the brass and back why, I didn't see it. I didn't see you. I thought you were the chicken and the egg. A stupid cliche that if you hear too much, you get annoyed with it. But you proved that you make yourself into something that no one's ever seen before. And he brings up Brian Pillman. And I'm wondering if Brian Pillman Jr. will come to AEW. Because he was working with Major League Wrestling. So I'm wondering if he's going to come to NWA eventually. That's going to be a question. But he does mention his dad and saying if you really want to get someone in this business, be something different, unique. And he says you got something unique. And it works. And the thing that gets me, that is really good. Cassidy takes the mic. He doesn't say a word. He starts fighting with Chris, which is good. He gets hit in the face with the boom, the camera boom. Cuts open, bleeding. He gives a Superman punch to Chris, and he gets wiped out, as you see him right now in my face, into a table when he went out to the audience. And that's the thing I love the most, that they have, at least, even if it's relatives or friends, and I hope they're testing them, please. Not like the WWE. Please test those people to make sure they're healthy and safe. At least you could see that they're doing it correctly. They make sure that if this is going to be done, they do it with people there You can hear the cheering. You can see this. And I'm hoping, again, that they test these people, unlike the WWE that did not. And yes, QT Marshall wasn't there because supposedly he had COVID-19. Or no, actually not COVID-19, but he was exposed to someone who had tested positive. So he took himself out of the equation and isn't there. And supposedly Moxley, the same thing. Probably going to be away for the next 2 weeks. And they'll probably show up on Fyter Fest Night 2. But at least it was good to see they set this up. Finally, SCU versus FTR. Old school. Flat out. Pure old school. Now, as I've said before when it comes to FTR, not everyone is going to like this style of wrestling. They don't do flips much. They don't do super kicks much. They do flat out 80s and early 90s wrestling. And when you look at SCU and Kaz and Daniels, I always loved Kaz and Daniels and Bad Influence when it came to TNA. When they had that segment, all that music they used to have, if you've never heard the Bad Influence theme song, go check on YouTube. It's still there. It's one of my most favorite songs. But when it comes down to this match, and yes, afterward you're going to have them, and this is after the match, I'm going to talk about the match in a moment, how I felt about it. But after the match, you had the Butcher and the Blade try to steal their ride, which they did. They stole their truck, and they said, we're going to get you. And at Fyter Fest, we're going to have an 8-man tag, and you're going to see the ones that we care about right there in the ring behind you. They didn't say it, but generally, the Lucha Brothers are back. You got Pentagon Jr. and you got Phoenix finally back, yes. And they're going to have an 8-man tag with them working with the Bucks. Now, that's a pretty good thing. I'm not 100% joshing on it. If you're not going to have the Lucha Brothers being back so soon, if they have nothing set up for them yet, it's good they get, at least they put them on the show. Now, I'm not 100% fond of 8-man tags because it can become so chaotic you don't really get a chance to see everything. But it's not that bad. But now back to the match. Seeing how Kaz, as well as how it's hard to remember the guys' their new names and everything, but essentially speaking, the majority of the match was a standard, straightforward, like 80s style of wrestling. More about holds, more about really high impact, more about making sure that you have good psychology in the ring. It was that good. At least for me. I'm still the type of person that doesn't mind having high flying or ground and pound or strategy as long as you make it look good. If you got a lot of high flying, make sure the storytelling is good. Not just that you can flip everywhere and you can kick someone's head off. It's got to be well rounded. In this situation, because FTR is an old school style of match wrestlers, you feel it. It's different type of wrestling. Something that is like a very good lost art that not many people will see anymore. In many ways, they don't appreciate it anymore. Where do you think the high-flying wrestling came from? It had to come from the standard wrestling, from the OG, and unfortunately not everyone sees it. And Christopher Daniels still can go in the ring. Kaz can still go in the ring. These other guys can go in the ring. You could feel the tension during most of the match. When Chris did the Winged Angel, you really thought it was going to be over, then it wasn't. Now, I'm not saying this was the greatest match of the year. It wasn't. But it was a good old school style match. And it really made things great. So, was this a good build in the Fyter Fest? Yes. I will agree this was pretty good. Even Sheeta showed some emotion with Penelope Forbes. It was good to see that she showed that she can get pissed off. I still wish they would do something more with Sheeta. Give video packages of Sheeta. She's a damn champ. Let her talk. She talks English. Make her talk. I want to see more, but this wasn't a bad show. But this is just my point of view. Have a good day. Have a good night. Peace.